Furio was the first cinema for me to act and to write a soundtrack. So it's a double, double starts. Well, because acting is not my interest, it's like my hobby or something, But the reason I worked on that film was that I respect the director, Nagisa Oshima, so much because I watched all of his films since I was maybe 15 or 16 during the 60s and 70s. So, I couldn't think of working with such a maestro, in the future. But, time came to me to work with him. And not only Nagisa Oshima, but with David Bowie and Takeshi Kitano. So it was a big experience, quite an experience. And then all the shooting was done. And then my role as a soundtrack composer started. And before I started writing the music, I saw the rough edit of the film, and my acting, myself on the screen, was worse than I expected. I knew I was not a great actor, but it was much worse than I expected. So, but luckily, I have this role to compensate my bad acting with my music. So I put almost all scenes I appear on the screen. I put the music to compensate. So, and also that was brand new, very new to me to write music for a cinema. So I didn't have so much knowledge about film music. So I didn't know where to start. So I asked the producer, Jeremy Thomas, give me one best example for me about film music, and he gave me the Citizen Kane. That's his choice, the only one best one. I don't know if I had the same question by somebody else, I would recommend maybe the Psycho by Hitchcock.
Do you think you've been influenced by Herman? In a way, influenced by Herman? Do you feel you've been influenced by him? Or by other film musicians, maybe?
Well, yes, I am influenced by Bernard Herrmann, although not that his influence is not so obvious on the music of Furio. But then after Furio, I started listening to a lot of Bernard Herrmann's music. So, he's the best example. He's like a textbook for students. Well, well, there is always some kind of misunderstanding between the cultures. That's normal. Probably the most of Japanese people still believe French children drink wines instead of water. That kind of cliche or stereotype misunderstanding is always there. So, and music is based on misunderstanding. Each person has the right to misunderstand about music. That's okay. Talking about the music of Furio, that music is not Japanese music. I mean, there's some influence, and I used pentatonic scale. So it could be Japanese, but it could be Indonesian, or it could be African even, So because the pentatonic is universal. Even Hungarian people, use pentatonic also. So it's nowhere music. It's some, based on some fantasy or story, or but it sounds Oriental, or because I wanted, that, and also movie needed kind of Oriental music. So I tried to make a kind of fake Oriental music, for Western people to misunderstand. This is Japanese. Well, I don't know. Well, it's up to the definition. My nationality is Japanese. I was born in Japan. Yes, I'm a Japanese composer or musician, but I don't know. Again, it's up to the definition about the Japanese music, but probably 99% of Japanese music today is somehow westernized. Whether it's sung in Japanese or sung in English or other languages, but it's pretty much westernized. I'm 50 years old, so I was born 7 years after the World War II was over. But when I grew up in Tokyo, Japan, I didn't hear any traditional Japanese music at all. And I was not, exception, but everybody didn't hear.